my call out. Jake Paul, what up? What up, Jake Paul?
Through Scope. This is Queese, man. Appreciate everybody's been rocking with the channel, supporting, subscribing, hit that like button. Yo, man, we just got that. We had a crazy announcement. I thought Jake Paul was gonna fight Joshua, even though I thought that was a crazy joint. But I was like, look, homie willing to lose. He willing to fight somebody and know he gonna lose. He finally gonna give us a fight where he don't got an advantage, whether he 30 years younger than the guy or, you know, the guy ain't been retired for 10, 15 years. He gonna finally give us a match where we got him losing unanimously. Now, we still might have him losing unanimously, but he might have a little advantage here. Now we see Jake Paul is going to fight Tank Davis. Now, we got to break this down from all angles, right? What it means for Tank, what it means for Paul, what it means for boxing, what it means for just sports and boxing in general, right? Just sports in general at this point. Now, I blame Floyd. Floyd opened the door for these type of fantasy booking matchups where the fighters take it into their own hands. You could kind of compare this to like what, you know, the NBA does when the player empowerment, like the players control things. Now you're starting to get that with the boxers. But I think on this side, you know, the players that are helping make this happen, whether it be Netflix or, you know, any of those promotions, they cashing out too. So it's a win-win for everybody on their side. You don't even see boxing promoters make the best fights these days. They don't even care about that. What generates the most money and what's going to keep my cash cow protected? That's where you get Jake Paul versus Tank. Now, it's going to be on Netflix, so it's going to be at the State Farm Arena, and it's going down sometime in November. With this particular fight, though, the first thing I seen was like, yo, from Tank's side, why would you do this? Like, I'm not against getting your money cashing out. I understand the financial impact and how much money y'all can cash out on this. Between your pay-per-view buys and the ones that Jake Paul reports, you know, y'all can make a lot of money on this. But you coming off a fight with Lamont Roach where you were the heavy favorite and you damn near lost. If that knockdown was correctly called a knockdown, you arguably could have lost that fight. So you getting on there with people already doubting your skills. They already questioning where you rank and where your legacy is. Combine that with your resume not really being that impressive. You don't really have that many tough fights outside of maybe Pitbull. You really don't have that many. And Roach, basically, Roach was a tough fight, but he wasn't projected to be a tough fight. I think the only other top 10 that you might have fought, you know, with a name was the fight before that when you fought Frank Martin. So everybody was assuming you was gonna run it back with Roach to show people like, look, you just ain't take Camp serious. He caught you on a bad night, and you gonna redeem yourself with a unanimous win, maybe even a knockout. But now you ducked that to fight Jake Paul. I don't know, man. Tank has always came across, if y'all see him on his interviews, he don't really seem like boxing. His heart is all in boxing. I mean, we even thought he was going to potentially retire. I never thought that. But if you listen to him and you want to take him at his word, he was floating that idea around. So you don't know if he fell out of love with the sport or what it was. You know, he got his legal issues and things like that. That probably plays into it as well. But Tank has never been those dudes that would call out guys who you would assume would be people he'd be looking at. He don't really entertain building up the fights like with guys where, you know, you don't see him calling out Shakur, you don't see him calling out, you know, Haney or guys, well, Haney when he was in his division, right? You see him calling out Lopez and Lomachenko when he was on fire. Like, you don't see him calling out those guys at that time where people would assuming that will be his next fight. He kind of just responds to questions being asked about him, and then he does it. But you don't really see him build up those fights. And then we never see him get made, so we don't know what is it for him. Now, they try to defend him and say he tried to defend this, say he's all about making the best financial the best financial move for his career and the cash out. But you can't tell me a Shakur Stevenson fight wouldn't cash out. Right now, coming off of the fight Shakur just had, that would break the gate. That would rival what him and Ryan Garcia did, if not more. So I don't understand, like, you know, some of these fights that he isn't taking, and to jump on a Jake Paul fight who don't got the credentials, who don't got the resume, who don't even got the name. Well, he got a name, but he don't got the authority to stand anywhere close to Tank in the ring. That's going to be your next fight back. Now, there's a risk for Tank because even though Jake Paul isn't a seasoned boxer compared to, you know, guys he fought, He still got like a 70, 80 pound weight advantage. And he's been boxing at least 5+ years. He at least been boxing 5+ years. So he has enough experience and been in that ring before to at least be comfortable enough that he could catch him with a lucky shot, or he can even play a strategy game where he just, thinking and, running around the ring, but he come up with strategies where he can probably get some good hits on Tank. And it's still a risk. It's not like, Tank is just going unanimously. There's no chance Jake Paul could possibly get him. If the Tank I saw in the Roach fight shows up, who knows? But this does nothing for Tank if he wins. If he wins, it's just going to be like, you still ducked all these list of names. We don't really respect Jake Paul on a boxing level yet because he hasn't really beat anybody as a real boxer. The people he went up against as real boxers, or at least young enough, he lost. He lost to Tommy Fury. Like he's fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., but that man was old, washed at that point. Like we don't really care about that. Tyson was old and washed at that point. So when he fought a real boxer, he lost. So him going against Tank and Tank winning does nothing for Tank. Just like Floyd beating Conor did nothing for Floyd. It just let him cash out. So if you want to cash out and get your money, that's fine. That's fine. But using your prime to do it, I respect it more if you were like later on in your career after you cleared out your division, the 135, or you cleared out the 140, and then you decided to do it. Now it's your life. I'm just giving you my, from a fan perspective of where your legacy is going to end up being when you got all these competitors here that people are begging for you to fight and you just decide to avoid it. Now let's get into the Jake Paul side of it. Now for Jake Paul, this is a risk, but it's calculated to me. I feel like the Joshua one would have been way more of a risk because Joshua is bigger, stronger, and more active than Tank is. Like Tank hasn't fought since the Roach fight, but he kind of takes time off. I think Joshua just fighting not too long ago. Now he's on the downslope because Joshua's been losing a lot lately, and a lot of people calling him out. Even Ward is calling him out now, but I feel like in a situation like this, calling out Tank, or at least fighting Tank, he must feel like, look, all I got to do is hit him once. Now, if Jake wins, he gets his profile jumps up. If he beats Tank, a Canelo fight doesn't seem like out of the realm of possibility for me. Like, I feel like if they can make that fight happen with Tank, I wouldn't be shocked if Canelo entertains it later on. Even though we understand the differences and weight and all that, it becomes, why not? Like, if he can make that happen, why not? He can't make Canelo fight happen. I just feel like at this point, Jake has everything to gain. If he loses to Tank, yes, people will say you lost to somebody that was way tinier than you, but the jump that could happen if he wins is going to be crazy. Now, if Tank loses, it's over. It's over for Tank. It's over. He will no longer have respect on his resume as that guy unless he decides to clear out the 135s immediately after losing. But I feel like he should retire because I feel like if he loses to Jake, his heart ain't in it. That's why I feel. He's too fast, too quick, too elusive. If he loses to Jake, who still isn't really that polished, he really doesn't, need to belong in that ring. He lost that killer instinct. It's just over at that point. Yeah, but if he loses to him, it's just over at that point. Now, as far as the financial side of this fight, man, like I said, I got this fight making big money. I mean, if y'all look at Tank's, he doesn't really have a really impressive pay-per-view track record outside the Ryan Garcia fight, which people were, that was like a fantasy match. People couldn't wait to see that. That did like over 1 million buys. His fight with Frank Martin did like 325, 350. His fight with Lamont Roach did like 282. So Tank needs an A side to make the most money, which is confusing me why he doesn't take Shakur fight, or he didn't take the Haney fight or moved up for that, or some of those big fights he just decided not to take, even though it's not like he's cashing out on these pay-per-views. But Jake Paul numbers, now I don't know if these are accurate because these seem really high, but the Ben Askren fight did 500,000. The Nate Diaz did 450 reportedly. Tyron Woodley did another 500K. The second one with him did like 200K. So that one went down. Anderson Silva did like 200 to 300,000. And the Tommy Fury did 775,000 pay-per-view buys globally. So these are the reported numbers. So between those two, definitely I got them doing over 1 million. But what does this mean for the sport of boxing? Because if you have guys in their prime starting to take these type of fights where they just care about cashing out, this is going to be an issue where now big money fights, there's really no reason to make them. We already see boxing suffering from that, and that will just continue. Like, you're gonna be having all types of guys not fighting each other just to preserve their careers or their undefeated records or whatever. And then, that's the Floyd effect, as far as like, Tank was with Mayweather Promotions at a point. I don't know if he learned that from Floyd, but he picks and chooses his opponents wisely, and he protects his record, he protects his investment, protects his body. But I could see that, being a factor there. But I don't even think it's a boxing issue. This is across all sports. Players are retiring early. Everything is becoming an entertainment fair. Everything's about, making the money. Obviously, that's what entertainment is. But, you've seen, I don't count WWE as a sport, but they've done certain things where it's just all about, this is just being a product. We'll pull the curtain back, let y'all know what's going on. We've seen in NBA, guys rather cash out on those deals instead of play for a winner, or they'll stay on the losing team their career. We just seen a lot. Cam Hayward, he's man, all pro season last year, 36, but he said, I won't pay more. Like, all these guys are holding out for more money. Everything, NIL deals, like, sports are becoming cash out while you can immediately, and winning is second nature, legacy is second nature, just cash out. I don't know if that trend is going to continue, if the tide is going to continue with that, but if he paved the way for this, what we seeing right now with Tank doing it, Jake Paul, what's to stop Canelo to do it next, and all these other guys to do it next? Because there's no limit on it. If he gonna fight somebody as small as Tank, then everybody is free game. But I'm not mad at anybody cashing out, getting their money, especially if your heart ain't in it. Like, if this is gonna be your last fight and you just want to cash out and be done, cool, do what you gotta do. I ain't never mad at man making this money, but it is a confusing move coming off of what he just came off of. If he beat Roach and he fought Alicia Shakur or somebody of that level and he won, and then he wanted to try that, that's cool. But I feel like you doing that, you not even taking any big money fights and just going straight to a gimmick fight. I don't know, man. So let me know what y'all think, man. It was interesting to see. I'm curious to see how this fight gonna play out. I can't sit there and be like, yo, I know Tank gonna win 100%. Because again, I mean, Jake Paul, he's still a novice boxer, but he got years of experience at this point. So I mean, he's in camp. He's been through camp. This probably be his toughest one yet. But we'll see, man. Let's do the scope. Like, subscribe, comment. Appreciate everybody's rocking with the channel. I'm out.